What is up, people? This is the Virginian Juice. Nah, I'm joking.
Beautiful vision juice.
This guy is a crackhead, bro.
You're a crackhead, bro.
You're for vision juice. What
For
vision
vision.
are you seeing, bro?
What kind? Wait, for vision juice is like carrot juice or something, bro. What is that? What we're doing? For vision juice. This episode is sponsored by For Vision Juice.
Juice, carrot juice for your eyesight. Specsavers is just ripping man off. Get for vision juice. It's real, bro.
Oh my days, bro. But yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's good? It's your boy AD.
True function with the glasses. Stunning.
Hi, guys. I'm Raphael.
And this is the Forbidden Juice podcast where we spill the juice on all things forbidden. Do you dare take a sip? Okie dokie, let's get right into it. So today, the topic of discussion is going to be on cultural appropriation and just basically the whole fuckery surrounding cultural appropriation. What is cultural appropriation? What is not cultural appropriation? Is it just white people that culturally appropriate, or are there other people that culturally appropriate as well? Like, where do we draw the line on cultural appropriation? Let's kick it off with the fact that let's first off get on the same page with regards to what cultural appropriation is. So if I bring up my little facts, right? So going on to Wikipedia.
Oh, do we want to show them? Because I got the video.
What?
Come out properly, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. It won't.
Yeah, bro,
This
but
is the audio.
Crump like a dungeon dragon.
stupidness, bro. Absolute stupidness. But
Play it, bro. No
cultural appropriation, according to the Google definition, is the unacknowledged or inappropriate adoption of the customs, practices, ideas, etc. of one people or society by members of another, and typically more dominant people or society. So that's one definition. Another definition, which I kind of prefer on Wikipedia, is cultural appropriation, at times also phrased cultural misappropriation, is the adoption of elements of one culture by members of another culture. This can be controversial when members of a dominant culture appropriate from disadvantaged minority cultures. So that kind of leads me to kind of be like, well, if we're talking about dominant cultures appropriating minority cultures, then kind of sort of automatically that just means that any white people that are in do shit from another culture, that is appropriation as far as that definition goes. Like, because they're the most dominant culture.
I would say that, but because of the context of the definition, conceptually speaking, that doesn't need to just be white people. That could 100%. Be, and it could be, let's say, for example, Jamaicans doing that for the whole of the Caribbean, because they're the most known and they're most like dominantly known and the most seen Caribbean. If they took anything from like St. Lucia, Dominica, or Trinidad or something like that, and they started pioneering it, and then all the Trinis are like, "Hey, but we did that. We started that. That's appropriation."
100%. 100%.
But yeah, definitely, I can agree that in terms of like the world and historically, it has been definitely the Western.
It's been you damn white people, bruv. It's been you damn white people. I know you're trying to be all PC and shit, bruv. White people, you people have been.
you people.
I like people. I love people. People. You people.
Do you know what? Do you know what I would like to add to it, though? I would like to add to it that the biggest grievance for cultural misappropriation or appropriation, right, is it's less of a big deal if a major group is doing it, right? Let's be honest, because we all like to share our culture. It's a problem when they start making money off of something you've been doing ahead of time.
Wait. Not just making money off it, but when you're doing it wrong as well, bruv. It's such a piss take when they do it wrong. This is where you can show the video, fam. This is where you can show the video. Because this shit right here, fam, you unseasoned people. That is just, bro, that's so
I'm not gonna lie to you,
ugly, bro.
Raphael is enjoying it too much. I think one of them will be your wife in the future.
You're gonna
find a skinny back girl, skinny back girl who throws up.
Yeah, bro. You want to get buck with one of them for sure, fam.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. Raphael had some points he wanted to share with us, isn't that right?
Indeed, it was, Raphael. Go ahead.
Hey, where's you guys with your evidence and research, man?
We're getting it, bro. We're getting it. But you've already got some, fam. So go ahead.
I came prepared, innit? But anyway, let me start, innit? Oh shit, I lost my notes. Anyway, I know they're off by heart. Anyway, yeah. So first one that we're going to talk about is Jeremy Lin versus Kenyon Martin. These are two NBA players, and what the situation was that Jeremy Lin did like a sort of like a dreadlock sort of like, I don't know, fade. He did some sort of dreadlock sort of haircut.
And understand, guys, as well, by the way, Jeremy Lin is Chinese American, by the way. So
is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He's a Chinese player.
Chinese guy. Cool guy, man. I met him like last year. Anyway.
Is he American or Canadian?
I think he's Canadian, actually.
Yeah, that like I just thought about it. I'm like, wait, hold on a sec. I think he might actually be Canadian rather than Anyway, it matters not. All that matters is that he is Asian in terms of like ethnicity. So
one Chinese man and you have one black man.
Yeah, he's American.
Both NBA players.
Well, he's ex-NBA player. He now plays for the
okay.
Anyway,
they both played in the NBA, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jeremy Lin's got the dreadlocks haircut. He's Chinese, and then Kenyon Martin just wrote some next statement. I don't know if it was on Instagram. It was on Instagram, just saying that like, listen, young buck, you can't have hairstyles like that. That came from us, B. Like, stay in your own lane, eat your own food. Maybe it was a little bit racist. I don't know. So then Jeremy Lin. Yeah. Jeremy Lin, he clapped back with kindness. It was a very mature response, to be honest. Very mature. Like everybody sided with him because what he said made sense. Like, because basically Martin had like some Chinese symbols on his neck, innit? So man said, hold on, blood. You can't do the same like that. So he came with the love. He said, like, listen, like I see you with the tattoos, like we can both appreciate each other's cultures, blah blah blah, on those sides. And I agree with Jeremy Lin in this instance. Like there's no need. I feel like just like Toppy said, like it's when it goes into not appreciating the people that have actually created what's being created or produced or whatever, and so money as well. If you're trying to make money out of it, like if someone comes out and does box trades, for example, like not a black person, and we see someone like a white person or a Chinese person saying that these are the new
wave, the new trend.
Yes, so the new super box waves, I don't know, and they're making money out of
super box waves.
Then you know that's wrong, and that's where I say that's cultural appreciation.
I would go as far to say that I don't really fucking need your appreciation. The truth is, when we're making our money off of what is culturally ours, we don't really need your appreciation because the money serves the purpose. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're not making money, then I agree. Maybe some sort of appreciation is fine, just to say, look, this is where it comes from. A good example of this is I went to Memphis, right? And there's a dance style called Memphis juking, right?
Juke.
And I love it. I love it to bits. But here's where I make the point of, yes, mostly white people do it, but when you start going to more like smaller communities or cultures, like Memphis juking is it comes from Memphis and nowhere else. If anyone else starts pioneering it, bro, these people are ready to shut them down. If they start saying any business, you can't talk, because so many people have started learning it from around the world, and it's been going on from like before the 90s. So it's been around for a while, but it's only started getting its shine now. So as someone who started partaking in the culture, I always give it up and go, cool, I'm black as well, or African. I like saying African, but for those who still like being on the black tip, I'm black, right? But that doesn't mean it's my culture. They've been doing it for time. They've got a whole lifestyle, whole culture that goes with it. And for me to if I start making money off it now and go, hey guys, look at these fresh glides and everything like that, and not giving any sort of indication of where it came from, I'm a sucker. And believe you me, they will come and find me as well. They've been on it, and they've been good at policing it. Actually, at the moment, they've been very good at policing.
They know IP addresses, basically.
Yeah, because now it's blowing up, and now
Hey!
That was the alarm.
Babes,
your alarm to
That was the
podcast.
I'm recording, babe.
Oh, half hour late, bro.
Babes, man, recording.
That was my point. Anyway.
Yeah,
You can't give it up.
I mean, yeah, like that's what it kind of sort of boils down to is the fact that you're not giving it up for where it came from. That's where cultural appropriation and appreciation, at least I feel, that's where the differentiation is. Because I mean, you could be making money off of it, and you can be like that can be your whole thing that you're doing, etc., etc. But if you're passing it off as yours instead of um showing clearly, look, no, this comes from XYZ, that's where then you fall foul. Because I mean, um, it'll be like, for example, the one that gets me is when they take something that is clearly like a, or not even clearly, but it's understood to be like, let's say a black thing, for example, right? Like do-rags, and they call it like an urban scarf.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see what you're talking about.
Urban
I
stuff.
You know what I
saw that.
mean?
I saw that.
Little
They were doing
shit
this.
like that. And
Urban,
it's like,
urban,
bruv,
urban.
you know what I mean?
Bro, I remember
And
that was actually a thing. This is not
yeah,
even a joke. This was actually
yeah,
a thing. I
yeah,
remember seeing
man.
white
Urban
models, yeah,
stuff.
and
What
girls
the
like,
hell?
oh, look at my urban scarf. I'm like, I should slap you. Urban scarf, yeah, I witch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know what I
urban
mean? So
scarf.
stuff like that, bro. And obviously we talk about it a lot from the black perspective, but that is it. It shows in so many other ways as well. So, for example, with Native Americans, like the people that were indigenous to America, and how then, like, for example, the American football teams that had Indians as their logos,
Mm,
like that was a massive thing.
Oh,
For
the
example,
Redskins.
yeah.
like the Redskins, and I think there were some other ones like something Indians or something like that. But yeah, man, like little things like that, for example, is also cultural appropriation rather than appreciation. But then, even if we go into it deeper, I mean, if we're being real with it, I would honestly say, and this is obviously with no research really being done, but I would say that black culture is easily the most appropriated culture worldwide.
I agree.
Because let's
Right,
even look like, oh, I just remembered
right,
one. There
bro.
was now I'm not happy with the way that this one went, but you know what? No, this was appreciation, come to think of it. But even then, like it just goes to show how far it reaches. So there was this one Korean YouTuber who got braids, like dreadlocks, basically. Like she got like extensions and shit, and yeah, did them up to dreadlocks. And yeah, she had them, and then everybody roasted the shit out of her. So then she made another video of her undoing the extensions that she had, and explaining in Korean about the history of the hairstyle. And I think that was very, very commendable of her. But at the same time, I don't think that the internet needed to force her to do that, because it was clear that she was just a fan of the style.
So
Um,
that's what I was gonna say, but continue your point. Go ahead.
yeah, so she then went on to go say, look, listen, where we're from, like in Korea, we didn't even know all of this history and shit. We just called it like reggae hair. That's what we call
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
I'm
call it
surprised. Like,
reggae hair.
hey,
But
I'm surprised, bro.
she then did the research and found out what the hairstyle was and what it was about, etc., etc. And then that's why she was then very, very apologetic and undid the braids right there and then on another secondary video. She only kept the hairstyle for like 2 weeks, and she was like, "Look, I'm sad to be taking it out because I really do genuinely like the style, but at the same time, I understand, the history of it now, and I don't want to offend anybody just for the sake of fashion. So bada bing, bada boom." But that just goes to show like how black culture has permeated itself into even cultures as far as Korea and Japan and
Making
China.
money out of us right now, fam.
Can I be honest with you though? But the whole braids thing, let me be honest with you.
We
Okay,
should have kept it in, fam.
the way black people do their braids is a very specific way. So if you do it that way, I understand. But make no mistake, whoever you are, I also think black people as well, or whatever culture you are, be careful not to be too triggered about stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you look at ancient China and ancient blah blah blah, those people used to do braids in their hair anyway, albeit in a long, like a long Rapunzel way, like just that long ponytail. People have been doing braids for ages. I don't believe it's just an entirely black thing. But with the extensions and the singular braids that we do, like the many braids, that is a specific way of braiding that I can definitely say is at least inherently mostly from the black culture. I know that some people from the native Indians do it as well. But again, from what I've seen, it's mostly you either get 1 or 2 strands in it, or even 3 max. Black people will have like maybe some women and guys will have like, I don't know, over 10 for a hairstyle. So it's good in that sense, but I guess it's not to cap people, but I think it should be careful about how triggered we are. Actually, I won't say be careful. I'm not going to say that. I won't restrict it. I can understand why we are like that. When you're being rubbed repeatedly, you'll be quick to stop anyone. If someone's reaching their hand to your cookie jar and keep taking stuff, the minute you see a hand near it, even if it's going for the jar or not, you're ready to slice that hand because you keep repeatedly getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why black people or people of color get upset whenever we see anything that just looks crazy. But at the end of the day, the good news is she learned from it, and she didn't go all white defensive on us like, oh, if I just wanted to wear my hairstyle. She took it humbly.
But then there's this one I want to bring to your attention as well, and this is with specific regard to hairstyles right now, right? So there was this 10-year-old white girl who got braids, right? She got cornrows, and she got slammed on the internet for having these cornrows. 10 years old. So it's like, where do we
when you're 10 years old? I'm just joking, carry on.
So it's like, where do you draw the line? How do you draw the line? Because like the reason she did it is because she thought it was a pretty hairstyle, and I think it was actually her friend in school who was like a black friend or something, who like she saw the hairstyle on or something like that and liked it and wanted to do it for herself, sort of thing. And obviously her parents let her do it, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, bro, I can't be mad at a 10-year-old girl who don't know better. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you guys a question. Can I ask you guys a question?
Go for it.
Very ironic question. Do you guys personally, this is personally like obviously your opinions, do you personally have problems with people that are not black and they just basically do our hairstyles? For example, biggest example, you should see it back in the 90s a lot, still happening now, when you get white people, you know, that white guy that gets dreadlocks. You see him everywhere. You got him in every area in freaking London or England, fam. There's one white guy with dreadlocks.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with any person doing whatever they want. My issue is, and this is my sincere issue, is what if you start to see on TV and in mass media, white dudes with dreadlocks and saying this is the new style, this is what it is.
I give it a name.
People are paying out of their pocket.
White waves.
For something that we've been doing over time. I see that as a grievance. I actually feel like I don't need people to appreciate the culture that much, because when you get paid for something you've been pioneering, you know what? Let me say this to you. Let me put it this way. We can all talk smack about Apple. You can own products by Apple and be like, Apple is shit, Apple is this, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, they're a billionaire company. And when you have that much money, it doesn't, and the way they've innovated and pioneered when they were innovating and pioneering, right? It doesn't matter how anyone feels about it. If anyone was to try and appropriate that technology, they have to pay their dues. Do you see what I'm saying? They can't just take Apple shit and be like, oh yeah, I did this. Apple will sue them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the appreciation doesn't really need to go far as long as there's some sort of compensation for the fact that you are the person who led it, started it, and is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if to that point, some people say, oh, no, the culture needs to be appreciated. To a degree, yes. But if you're being paid for it, for example, for all the Fortnite stuff, dance moves and all of that stuff, everything that has been done that was from black culture, from even like salsa, tango, at least Latino culture, if we were to get recompensation for all of that, the world would be in severe debt. That's the truth. It would be like some people be bankrupt. That is the truth. So that money, if we had that within our community, we'd be all here in the lab like, yeah, man, wear your braids. Who cares? You pay me, innit? That's the truth. But because we don't, that starts getting certain groups within the black community triggered, because we'll see images and we'll know, oh, there we go. someone's gonna say, "Oh, look at that white girl. Doesn't she look cute? Doesn't she look pretty?" Meanwhile, the same problem, our little black girls will go to school, and they'll be like, "Your hair is inappropriate." Do you see what I'm saying? Now, if we're getting paid, we'll be like, "Don't worry, just take your hair out, or we'll buy the school." You know what I'm saying? We'll either go, "Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You can take your hair out. It doesn't stop you being black and beautiful. We're earning money from it. It doesn't matter. You know, it's not a big deal." Or we'll say, "We'll buy the school out. We'll take the school to court." But we can't do any of those things because the money is not coming in from it. Do you see what I'm saying? So the money for me is the most integral thing, because what will happen is with the definition of a cultural appropriation of blah, 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 that kind of gives way to say, okay, well, we'll make money of it, but just make sure to say, oh, this is where it comes from. I don't agree with that. I think in the definition, it should definitely say the dominant group making money and profit off of it. Because then when people look at that and read that definition, they'll know, oh, because you can appreciate someone's culture and make money off of them. Does that make it any better?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a good example of that is K-pop. Before Koreans in like the 90s and so stuff, and I give it to them, what they've done is they've taken it and tweaked it to their own way, because it still has an Asian feel.
Yeah,
but like, all of their videos almost feels like 90s R&B. Like the dancing and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then when a black K-pop group came out, they were like, Remember that all-girl group? They were like,
Wait, which all-girl group? What, a Korean, like a K-pop style black all-girl group?
I've heard of
they
it.
were black and they were a K-pop group and they were smashing it. I've forgotten their name. I don't know if they were Pink or something.
Bro, I've never heard of it.
They came out a while back and the Koreans were
I heard of the white one though. Did you guys see the white K-pop group?
Nah.
Their name was their name was Heart to Heart. They are the most cringy motherfuckers about. Wait, hold on a sec. I've got to bring this up. I don't know if this might like demonetize us or whatever, but honestly, I don't care.
Who cares, man? Let's speak the truth. The truth is needed out here.
10 seconds of it.
This shit here, yeah, is so cringy. All right, and I gotta be able to do a screen share thing, so just bear with me 2 seconds while I like.
Oh, you can do screen share, man. I wonder if I can do screen share.
All right, so share screen.
Yeah.
Share screen. Oh wait, I should wait. Hold on. Let me stop sharing that.
Oh crap.
And share screen again. Computer sound as well, so you guys can hear the video. But yeah, look at these guys, bro.
Oh, the white guy.
Oh god, already.
What? Oh. This is worse than NSYNC, bro.
Bruv, trash.
I think it's a smooth. This can't be real.
Bro, no, it's real. It was real.
I want to do this in the realest way.
Are you serious?
Bruv, it was real.
You know what?
He looks like a shitty Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Bruv, you're real.
My space instead. I'm checking your page to see what.
Bro, come off my screen, seriously. I'm not gonna watch this. I'm not gonna watch.
Wait, where's the chorus, fam? Where's the chorus?
Bruv, nah, fam.
This is the chorus.
My eyes are sacred, fam. My eyes are sacred. I refuse to watch.
Anyway, let's stop that.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's actually bad.
Bruv, horrible, fam.
Physical discomfort is real, bruv.
Fam, just horrible.
Raphael's gonna marry you.
Raph is the number one fan, fam. He's a new Heart to Heart. Man's gonna be banging that on the phone as his ringtone, fam. Facebook official.
Oh, is that the song?
God.
Yeah, fam, it's called Facebook official.
Okay, I'm done. Done.
Wait. Is that cultural appropriation? It must.
I don't know.
It must be.
It's so bad that I just still give a fuck about it. It sounds bad, isn't it?
I think the only people that can call it out are those groups. And because the K-pop, do you see what I'm saying? The cultural appropriation doesn't matter in this context because K-pop is its own industry. The Koreans make so much money off of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then like white people then clearly were like, yo, Koreans are making money off of this. Let's jump on that as well. And so, boom.
But because it's already an established industry, right? The issue is the money making. The money making at the exploitation of. Do you see what I'm saying? If the Koreans weren't making any money, and then these guys came out and started making money, there would be the problem.
I don't know about that though, man. Because if you
know,
think about like the hip hop industry, for example, right?
Mhm.
Like we're making money in the hip hop industry, yet you will see like the white rappers come into the industry, or Asian rappers come into the industry, or Hispanic rappers come into the industry, do what we do and make their own little bread off of that as well, bro. And even though we're making money, these men are also making money because they're copying our shit.
that might be true. Okay, but okay, I agree with you on that sense. But that what you're talking about, I think, lends to other issues within the black community and how the world is, racism and stuff. That's a very complex thing. But if I was just to go into just the reason why I don't think it is it's Korean, in like it's just in your face. It's Korean. The fact that now it's now almost a mainstream thing, is that a lot of people know about K-pop now. If it was about 10 years ago where it wasn't known, right? I would definitely agree with you, because if any white person started doing it, or black person,
Just to let you know, that came out in 2011.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that would have been around the time where you could have said it's cultural appropriation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it was because it's back then.
I genuinely, in my own personal opinion, don't consider it so, because I would have to ask a Korean person's point of view. For them, they probably would have been like, it's cool, but they will still say, they're shit. This is what we're doing. Do you know why I say that? I agree with, I understand why you feel that way, but the only people that can get to cry out cultural appropriation are that group. Do you see what I'm saying? In my opinion, it isn't, but that's my opinion. If anything coming to black African culture, I am quick to jump on it because I know our culture. For them, I would say, I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it is, but that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't think it is, because I feel like yeah, go on.
No, I'm saying like it sounds bad, but it's like I don't care in a sense that I feel like the song is so bad. So it's like almost like I'm taking my own opinion of the song that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm basically contradicting myself. Basically, I can't.
No, but that's the reason why I feel like it wasn't cultural appropriation, because it's just not. It doesn't feel Korean. It doesn't feel anywhere near the source. Do you see what I'm saying?
Man.
And I can understand that. For when you see terrible white dudes rapping, like terrible white, or any culture rapping, you're just like, this ain't hip hop. They're not gonna make much money off of it. But then when you get people like Macklemore and stuff like that, where you've got some black people backing him, you've got money behind him to push him, marketing and all of that stuff. He wins the Grammy at the expense of people who've been working way hard. That feels like a cultural appropriated slap.
Like, but to say that, because you use that example, then me and Adrian spoke about this like ages ago. Then, what do you feel about what's his name, Bruno Mars?
Ooh, yeah, Bruno Mars was a big one because he's not black, he's Hispanic, but
he's Filipino, I swear.
Nah, Hispanic.
I thought his mom was Filipino.
No, he's Hispanic.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, bro, he's Hispanic. That was something. All right, so basically, right, because this is taking me back now. So I think it was on Twitter that one black girl was roasting Bruno Mars, saying, "Look, listen, this guy is appropriating our culture, this and that."
I remember I watched that same video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The grapevine people.
And it was like, and I was sitting there looking at it, just like, Bruno Mars ain't culture. He ain't appropriating no culture. I'm like, bro, if anything, bro, man is just paying homage to it like a motherfucker. Like he's doing bits for it.
Do you know? And this is the reason what you're saying has to be authenticated by some people in the culture. Now, some people clearly believe he is. Remember, during like the whole hip hop origins and stuff, even though it was primarily the culture was created by black people, Latino cultures and Latino people were increasing, especially the darker ones, were increasingly included with us. Actually, even including some of the lighter ones, you know what I'm saying? And they were there at the formation of the culture, although it is predominantly a black-made culture for hip-hop and etc. But they've always been welcome, because in those communities, especially in America and Southern America, they were always, black people, Latinos, always mixing. Now, here's where I will say that you need the people of that culture, at least prominent figures from that culture, to say whether it's appropriation or not. Because we can get big names from any field in the black community, doctoring, healthcare, engineering, blah, blah. And we can tell you, they'll tell you who's, what do you call it, appropriate from us. Teddy Riley, the guy who created New Jack Swing, went and said, Bruno Mars is not culturally appropriating. If the guy who created the style of it is saying that the same style that this guy is using, that I made, is not appropriating it, then
you can't say nothing else. All right, cool. So, all right, then here's something else that I want to ask as well. But I want Raf to answer this question just because I want to get him involved in the conversation more. Then
I've been involved, fam.
I want to get you involved more, fam. It's not a dig, fam. Fucking hell. I just want you to chat more. So, Justin Timberlake, is he culturally appropriating?
I don't know, because like going back to Bruno Mars, this is one point I want to say about Bruno Mars. It's like he's been with his whole entire career since he was a young kid. He's been inspired by so many black people, etc. He's paid homage to the people that the type of genre that his last album, do you know what I mean? He worked with so many. I feel like he's even put money back into not necessarily the black community, but then you're working with another black producer, etc. But again, going back to what you're saying with Justin Timberlake, I don't know, man. I don't know. Personally, I don't feel betrayed by him. I don't feel like he purposely said to himself, okay, I want to make this type of music to make more money. I just feel like I won't. It's like it sounds silly. It's kind of like I kind of respect more of Bruno Mars's music than Justin Timberlake's music. But it's like I still feel like Justin Timberlake as a person, he's not really doing it for the purpose to make money. He's doing it because he likes the genre, or he wants to put beatboxing in this and beatboxing in that, rather than someone like 6ix9ine that purposely is rapping like that, and he knows that. Even on different levels with 6ix9ine, because of not about him to snitch, but his reason behind it. I heard with 6ix9ine, maybe it's not relatable, but I heard with 6ix9ine when his wife was talking on the internet, he was saying that like back when he was a teenager, he used to wear a lot of clothes that he wore jumpers that said HIV. So he was doing that obviously for attention. Then he got into rapping, blah blah blah. So my whole point is like people like 6ix9ine and some of these mumble rappers, not all of them, let's not get it twisted. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they're doing it just solidly just to make money. It's like, okay, I can produce that sound. Let me put some auto-tune, I don't know, and let me be rich off this. Let me get some tattoos. I need neck tattoos and face tattoos. I need to produce an image. And then you have that whole organization behind them with marketing and stuff like that. That's how I personally feel. But then, again, because I did hear people talking about Justin Timberlake and this sort of subject. I know some people definitely feel like he definitely was taking advantage of us and our style and stuff like that. But I don't know. I personally like Justin Timberlake. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I think just my last point, like where does this stop? Because then we have, just using an example, we have grime artists that go commercial and they'll do a lot of pop songs like Chipmunk did. Like loads of people, Tinchy Strider, do you know what I mean? So I think we can break this on so many different levels. But then to close what I'm trying to say, then again, it kind of links in with systematic racism in the process of like, actually, okay, scrap that last point.
I was gonna say, fam, you're going in some weird direction now.
I didn't need to say that, but basically, I'll say it anyway. Basically, what I was gonna say is that it might be in terms of like a power struggle in terms of the system, because obviously a lot of black people can't get in certain situations, certain
areas,
jobs and money, if that makes sense. It could be because it's not our country at the end of the day, so they're still in control of who gets the most marketing, etc. So you can compare someone, stupid example, you can compare someone's like the Beatles compared to another maybe black group, and the Beatles will be way more successful in the sense of the country, wherever. But that's all I want to say, innit? Kind of madness, guy. I just spoke about loads of just different things.
Different things going in different directions.
It makes sense to me. It's related. The cultural appropriation thing has many levels, so that's what I was saying. But I just didn't want to bring that into the conversation, and you touched on it. It inevitably leads into other things like racism and all of that stuff. If you're talking at least from white people to black people standpoint anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's long. I want to say something about Justin. I'll make it short because I know I talk a lot. He is culturally appropriating, but we love him for it.
Okay.
We love him for it. And the only reason, in some senses he is, in some senses he isn't. And I'm going to give a comparison. Miley Cyrus, any artist that dips their toe in, then jumps out quickly, that is a hallmark of someone that culturally appropriates.
Yeah, it's true.
When Stefani was using the Harajuku girls,
Oh, I like Stefani.
blah 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 with the crazy Asian
Oh,
thing.
it's
Now
banana.
she ain't doing it anymore.
It's
Right?
banana.
Yeah. She
Shit.
took that whole Japanese looky thingy out of Japan and was using it. She's not doing it anymore. Same with Avril Lavigne. She did it as well. And there's instances of that. I watched a video about this cultural appropriation thing. Just looking at Asians, they did it. Justin has at least stayed true to doing at least music near black music after he left NSYNC for a long time. And
Can I
even when he
also
wasn't
say-
NSYNC, you go.
I just want to say as well, there is footage of Justin Timberlake from back in like the Disney Mouse House, Clubhouse, whatever days, of him doing like the like an R&B song with like Ryan Gosling and JC Chazes. Like they were doing like, I think it was Jodeci they were singing.
Yeah, that's what I said. Jodeci, bro.
You know what I mean?
Every time
So from when he was a child, you understand? So like, man had his foot in it even before NSYNC. He had his foot in like
There you go.
old black R&B. I'm just saying.
There you go. That's why I said I think he's culturally appropriating in the sense of the wider sense that it's easy for him to, as a white person, to start making money off of it. But that's not, as him as an individual, I don't think so, because he is stuck to it. Even with his latest album, which was a bit of a flop for me. Bro, if you know that one with the robots? Have you seen it? The one that goes boom, dum, da, dum, dum, da, 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 da. Bro, the dancing in it, and he always gets involved. I like Justin because he gets involved. And he always has that cool flair. And that's how you know he studied black culture a little bit. And he surrounded himself with black producers as well, because his whole Justified album was
Timbo,
right? And then the second album with My Love.
That was Timbaland as well.
Yeah, with Timbaland as well. He had T.I. feature
And he
on
works
it.
with Pharrell as well.
Bro, he had
get
so
together.
many. And I think, but I won't use that as a justification, because at the end of the day, those producers are doing their job.
Yeah.
Because any white artist can go to them, get their thing, make their bag, and make more money off of them.
I don't know if it was just a job thing though, because I mean, definitely with JT and Timbo, that was real love between those two. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying the feature artist. I'm talking about saying, oh, they use black producers, because we're going, oh yeah, they use black producers.
All right,
That means nothing. The feature artist, I'm not sure. I can't say anything about that. But Justin, we'll give it up for Justin. I'm not so sure about his recent music, but at least he's had a consistent track record. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And I mean, look, what I like about Justin Timberlake as well is he's not trying to be black with his music.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, he's not trying to be black with his music. He's just making music that has black influence in it. And it's kind of like his own thing. Like, if you think of people that make that's a good question. Who do you think makes music like Justin Timberlake?
There isn't really anybody.
Yeah, my mind went right. As soon as you said it, my mind.
You know what I mean? So he's made music that is his own thing. It just happens to appeal to the black people. You feel me?
To be honest, there is someone. It's just Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars does it, but it's just a Bruno Mars way, in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's so long after JT, though. You feel me?
Yeah.
So you don't even dare. You don't look. No one listens to Bruno Mars and be like, yeah, that's like that old JT. Yeah, like no.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Bruno.
Justin Timberlake's music is Justin Timberlake's music. You feel me? And so that's what I like and appreciate about his thing. And that's why then I can't just outright say it's cultural appropriation. I think I can comfortably say that it is at least his old music. I don't know about shit now. His shit now. But at least back then, I would say it's appreciation. And I think it's definitely appreciation when you've got people like Timbaland around you, because ain't nobody like, come on, if Timbaland is co-signing you, that means something big. You know what I mean? So for someone like JT and for him to be like, yo, brother, this is my guy. You know what I mean? I can't think of any artists Timberland worked with more than Justin Timberlake at that point in time.
As a white person as well, yeah. Because Timberland for the black community represents a very black sound, especially in his heyday when he was with Missy Elliott.
Boy,
with
Leon, Missy, and
because when Adrian was talking about being co-signing that black sound, even though JT had the black influence in it and it was still like uniquely his, he found a way to make it his without trying to replicate it and come off as some fake shoddy fake good. He always had people that had that black sound. And when I think of Macklemore, when Macklemore won that what's it called? What's that song? That crappy song?
What, Thrift Shop? Or
no, that very first one, the one with the weird horn.
Yeah, Thrift Shop.
I hated that song because that sound.
I low-key like it, I'm not gonna lie.
If you listen to that sound, I'm not saying that probably a black producer maybe made it, but there's a lot of songs that when you hear that it slaps and the groove and the bounce, when you look behind the producer, you're like, man, that's a black producer. It makes sense. Now, I will take this. I'm going to be careful about what I say because I come from that community, right?
Bro, don't be careful, man. Say this is the forbidden juice. Say what you gotta say. Say what you care.
When I say careful, I mean like I'm taking a step back. That doesn't mean white people can't produce those sounds or anybody, because there's loads of people I know in my
that marshmallow you can't produce for shit. We're just saying.
Marshmallow.
You know the producer Marshmallow.
Hey. Anyway,
yeah. Sorry,
let me not get off point. Anyway, the idea is at least during that point, at least the early 2000s when JT dropped, right? Cry Me a River, the beat, bang. What was the other one? Senorita, I'll be here for you. Hey. Now, if anyone has that Justified album, yeah, there is a gem on there called Last Night. That track, you know that track.
Yeah, bro.
Last night. Can't believe that I was hearing. Oh, bro, when you hear the beat, oh my days.
It had that little, what was it, guitar? Was it a guitar sound? Yeah, man, a little.
Hey, bro. Raphael's looking blank-faced. That is your homework. You need to hear this track.
Fam.
You heard it, man.
Last Night by Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that
Can't
is
see what I was feeling.
Oh, bro.
The way I
Hey, you want to play it right now, innit?
Manga.
Anyway, we've covered JT. JT is a good example of him as a person is not appropriation, but in the sense that I believe he could be partaking, not him consciously, but the media and the system of, I guess, racism and blah, 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 that you briefly touched on, to make it easier for him to excel on black music than someone else. You want to play it, innit?
I'll play it after.
Yeah. Not so we don't get too demonetized. We already had heart to heart. We don't want another strike.
Yeah.
Man, they don't exist no more, fam.
Bro,
but Miley Cyrus is a good example of someone who was jumping in, doing the twerky thing, the sexy thing, and then bounced out. Madonna's done it as well. She took voguing, which was its own community thing that was like amongst the gay people and Latino and gay people or whatever it was. And she made it very popular, but then she wasn't continuously doing it. She wasn't pushing the angle. So do you see artists who go out and go, oh, I like that. Let me grab that and make money off of it. Boom.
Okay. Next one then. Justin Bieber. What are we saying for him?
Yes and no. His music's too shit for me to see this question.
Fam, bro. You say that.
Some of his tracks bang.
But there we go. Some of his tracks bang, fam. You see that track that he's got out right now called Yummy? Yeah. Fam? I fucks with it.
I know a lot of people do. I've seen it on Instagram. A lot of people
fucks with that song, bro. But I watched the video and I'm like, bro, JB, man, you lost some sauce, bro. Like he's doing all this weird. He's not so like that, bro. I'm like, that? It's like I'm just like, bro, Justin Bieber,
Wax on,
fam,
wax
this-
off,
bro,
wax off.
sourceless guy, bro. And I look at him, and he's 25 years old, fam. I'm like, bro, like, you're a grown age, fam, and you can't even, get some source in the movements, fam. No flow, no source, no. And I just look at it like, and I'm just looking at it like, there was a period of time where Justin Bieber went from doing the, you know what I mean, the baby nonsense.
But that was a child anyway. Yeah.
But basically, right, the time where Justin Bieber started, I'll tell you exactly when Justin Bieber started like fucking with the black community started fucking with him. It was from when he made that song, Boyfriend. You know what I mean? When he made that song, that is the first time where black people listened, like, hey, you heard that new Justin Bieber though. So I then look at it like, bruv. But then that's when he started hanging out with niggas as well. So he was hanging out with black people. He was dressing like black people. He was, you know what I mean, the hats and the jumpers and he started getting tattoos and shit. So then I'm just like, is Justin Bieber
a wigger?
Basically, you know, like, is he, you know what I mean? Is he appropriating the culture as well, coming out with a sound now and an image that is definitely more black than his roots?
Yeah, but he stayed that way. The thing is, when you stay with it, he's been staying that way for a while now. He may not be hanging around the black people in public like he used to, but at least his music has been consistently, as they say, with the air quotes, urban. He stayed within that lane. If he had done his old boyfriend thing and then his couple of feats with Ludacris or whoever they did feature artists with, and then he jumped and started doing country music and stayed country. That is a clear sign of he used it to make money. It wasn't working for him. He's now bounced. Miley Cyrus for me is a good example of that. So much. I'm gonna just keep hitting on her because she's like a really big artist. But there's other people who've done it. They dip their toe. Once they've dipped their toe and go, oh, this ain't really for me, they fuck off. And I think the whole cultural appropriation, if you bring it down to an individual, is also looking at why do you have to be like this? Can you not be yourself and also find a way to make it work? Do you see what I'm saying? Because the same criticism can be used for when black people start doing things like white people. And
that's what I was about to ask about. I was gonna say, for example, it's a shit example, but Lil Nas X with Old Town Road, like.
No, I don't think that's cultural appropriation.
Nah, I can't. I don't think it is myself. Although it's, I mean, country music is not black people music predominantly.
It's
but
not.
You've got this guy who made a country.
Oh, I might be on the other side.
What, you think it is cultural appropriation?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think.
No, wait, but he put a hip hop beat and everything in it, and
exactly. Now, if he made a pure country track, then I'll say, yeah, maybe.
But I want to go on Old Town Road.
You know what I'm saying? and they proper got him wearing cowboy boots and
chewing. Fam, he was wearing cowboy boots, bro.
Yeah,
bro. I don't think it's cultural appropriation.
Nah.
Because I'm thinking that
if it is, good. Now you know how it feels. Now you know how it feels.
No, but do you remember how heated? Do you remember how heated white people were when basically they stopped him from becoming #1 on the country charts because they were like, it's not country music. So he got Billy Ray Cyrus, the most country motherfucker in the game, to then on the remix just so it could get onto the country charts. And Billy Ray Cyrus even went on record as saying, look, listen, we're talking about horses and, you know what I mean, Cadillacs and rare this and that, like, that shit country. So then when you've got a country figure giving the cosign to this guy and the song saying that it is country music, right? Nobody could say shit. It went to the top of the charts. It was running the top of the charts for something ridiculous. Like how many months straight? Like 18 weeks straight. I think it was #1, something crazy like that. And so, but it's like, is that cultural appropriation or is it just?
What? Can I say something?
Hard,
because in my opinion, I don't think it is. But if it is, good, tit for tat. And actually, it's very clever that he got Billy Ray Cyrus, aka Miley Cyrus's dad.
Yep.
If he did not,
you must love that, innit?
If he did not co-sign that, easily you would have heard comments from black people saying, "So hold on, he's culturally appropriating and he can't get away with it, but his daughter has been twerking and grinding on large phallic objects, talking about she hip hop, and now she's an indie artist, bro." Billy Ray Cyrus is a businessman. He's
That's what I'm
clever as
saying.
well.
That's what I was just about to say. If
He's
the
a
money was
businessman.
not there, it would be a different story. He would not.
If the
be
money was
talking to
not
him.
there,
It wasn't for
he
money
wouldn't be
because he was
involved.
going crazy, bro. Crazy on YouTube, fam.
Definitely.
He was thinking that
So,
what marketing opportunity.
I give it up
Let
to
me
Lil
step-
Nas X that he had the mind, the business mind and the ingenuity to reach out to someone of that caliber. But also, if that track wasn't even anywhere near popping, for it to even get a response, boom. Because with Billy Ray Cyrus, it shouldn't be even a black person that sees a white person making millions like that. You're gonna get someone that co-signing, even at the consequence of being called a traitor, because when you get up to those levels as well, business is what comes into play. So cultural appropriation, there's the idea of doing it as individuals, and there's the business aspect, man. It's a very complex thing, I think. But yeah.
I feel like.
All right, you know what? Hold on, because I know I smoke a lot, but let's try and be final about it. Did Lil Nas X culturally appropriate? And we all have to give our opinion. Yes or no? No talking. I don't think he did. I don't think so.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'd say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
All the white people screaming on their keyboard, "Yo, niggas, you're biased."
Yeah, I don't think he did. But the only reason I'm saying I don't think he did is because I follow him on Twitter and stuff, and like I've seen a lot of what he was talking about on this whole Old Town Road situation. And I mean, the guy is legitimately a fan of country music. I think when you're legitimately a fan of the stuff, it's only natural for you to then want to make the music. So, but that, I mean, at the same time though, I'm kind of inclined to say yes, he is, because I've listened to. In fact, no. Take that back. No, he's not culturally appropriate, and the reason I say that as well is because I've listened to Lil Nas. I've actually listened to Lil Nas X's album, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has country, hip hop, rock, like he's got all sorts of different genres of music in that one album, and you can just tell that this kid is a fan of music. He's not hip hop guy, he's not a country guy, he's just a music guy. So it's hard for me to then say that he's culturally appropriating stuff, because you can just see the influences everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's very, very clear that obviously Old Town Road took off like none of the other songs did. But that's just how it goes in music. Some songs will do better than others. If it was the rock song that took off rather than the country song, he'd probably be in the same sort of predicament. You feel me?
I think less likely though. But yeah, I totally.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been one of these things where it's just like, oh, like he might have tried to get to the top of the rock charts, and they were like, oh, this isn't rock music, no way. And then he gets like Nirvana involved, and then all of a sudden, bang. So. Yeah,
but
man.
Didn't Jay-Z and Linkin Park do that?
That was something different though, man. Because when that sort of stuff was happening, that was when like, because hip hop and rock were kind of like going at it in the
alternative rock
industry at the time, and there started to become a movement of where hip hop and rock started like crossing over with each other.
Like Limp Bizkit.
No, I was thinking even what's it called? Run DMC, and what's the name of that other guy, fam? Yeah, that we walk this way.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while.
I remember that video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is different. That's not really, that's appreciation, because
that's collaboration, really.
That's appreciation. That's collaboration.
Yes, that's collaboration, appreciation, admiration. You know what I mean? And like, it's a good mixing of things. This is one thing I wanted to ask as well. Actually, now that I've remembered it. So Raf tagged me in a Facebook video of these Japanese women, right, who are heavily, and I mean heavily, inspired by Mexican culture, right?
Oh,
they dress like
the chulos.
Yeah.
Chulos,
Is that appropriation or appreciation?
I say appreciation, yeah, because again, going back to the Korean girl that did the dreadlocks, I feel like it comes from down to obviously they're not making money out of what they're doing, and she proper studied and went into detail of the history. She didn't go. She might have started off of seeing someone like that on the internet. Oh, that looks nice, but she actually went into the history, and so if you ask her the history of those people, she would actually know it as an Asian person. Whereas another Asian person can be just watch Beyonce on TV and be like, I'm getting that hairstyle, and just, do you know what I mean? And that's it.
I just want to add to that very quickly. I really feel the systematic racism, just to briefly bring it in, is part of it, but the money is the biggest thing. Or there's got to be something where someone, so even if the money is equal, like just to quickly touch on your point about hip hop has been making money, right? But now everyone's equal. It doesn't matter if white artists and so stuff. But now when white artists are getting recognized for an art form that was essentially pioneered, even though we're all getting paid, then there's an equality there. So there must be some sort of equality in terms of the money and the recognition, less the appreciation. Now, going back to what I wanted to say, I think we're into the whole Japanese thing, right? Okay, albeit we don't go cosplaying and stuff. But do people that they call weeaboos?
Yeah.
There's an argument to say they're culturally appropriating. I think cultural get involved in a culture and doing something like that culture, right? If you've been doing it since day before money was even involved, I don't think it's cultural appropriation. Because there's white people that have been hanging with black people. I mean, I grew up in London where there were kids in our area that were speaking like us, rare tear tear, spitting grind bars and stuff like that. They were living the culture, right? The point where I go, where's the fine line is when they decide, oh, this was never me. I'm now just gonna jump up and leave. You'll still see guys who in their 30s, 40s who are like, yeah, they'll talk like the man then because they've lived and grew up like that. Do you see what I'm saying? They are part of the culture. And with Asians and Japanese people, it's a good thing to notice that, Adrian, you haven't been, when you go, you'll have a blast, yeah? When you go there, there's a group for everything. There's the Japanese goths. There's the Japanese people that dress like Victorian maidens. Like, I mean, they go out in the summer with parasols. They dress and they live like that.
Yeah.
They've got the people that tan their skin and look like black people. They love the black dudes. They want to go. You know what I'm saying? For every group, they have something. I remember seeing.
Don't forget the Soca group, fam. Don't forget the Soca group.
There's Soca, bro. Yeah, and I even remember seeing. Joe Bad I saw an old man in the summer when I went in 2015 wearing a full cowboy outfit. He talked like it. Actually looks cool. It looked cool as hell. But you knew this was a guy that just loved that culture. So I think for those chulo women, they probably, as much as they dress like that, there may be levels of ignorance for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm also intended to understand that if you love something that much, there must be some level of research you've done. If you love it that much. If you're not, ignorance. And then when people call you out of ignorance, you'll be like, oh, there's either two things you'll do. You'll be like, oh, I'll stop it. Or, oh, shit, let me learn more about it. But I still like doing this. Do you see what I'm saying? Because no one will stop you doing something you love. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Last question, and very, very briefly, we have to answer this because the episode is almost over. When it comes then to, because we've obviously talked about, the money influencing it, but then when it comes to, let's say, a white lady who is like tanning her skin heavily, got lip fillers, big bum, all them sort of things, maybe even kinkies her hair or braids her hair like black people and stuff. And it's clear that she's one of these people that cannot really make money like that off of it. But it's very, very clear that Becky from down the street is trying very, very hard to be black. Is that appreciation or appropriation at that point? Because there's obviously the commercialization aspect. This is why I think we can't always look at cultural appropriation from a money perspective, because sometimes the benefit that they gain is not just money. So I think that, for example, I think maybe all the avenues can lead to money, but the direct output isn't always money. I feel that, like
what
I said,
output would it be though?
So, for example, so we are clearly in a day and age where like the big bums and the big tits and all that shit is winning, right? And like black women are kind of sort of like leading that thing. Like everyone wants to be thick these days, and black women just naturally were thick. But now you can get white girls who are getting
pause.
clout.
Pause. You said black women naturally we thick.
Yeah. No, look that. Oh, all right. I meant they. I'm bad.
Don't let that slide.
I'm bad. Fucking hell, bruv. But naturally,
Ew. No, I'm joking.
the black women are thick, right? Like naturally. And so you then have these white women who are then trying to replicate that black look for like the clout, for example, or the attention, etc., etc. So yeah, man, I think that it can then be appropriation based off of that, even though no money is like coming off of it. But there's
This
just
is what I said to you. That's what I said to you earlier when I talked about the money. I said even if the money is level, there's got to be something that one ups it. So even if our money is straight, if they're getting more recognition, and I did say that earlier, recognition, which is for something that you've already been doing for ages, that's a problem. But this is why I think, to answer your question, going back to your question, no money involved, no recognition. When you talk about the white and black complex of appropriation, it's always tied to racism, man. Because when black women couldn't be like where they were told, oh, you're out of shape, you look like this, blah, blah, then a white woman goes, you're beautiful, you've got thick lips, blah, blah, blah. That's a problem. Do you see what I'm saying? So that kind of intrinsically, well, I won't say intrinsically, but has some major links to racism and the way society is at the moment. Do you see what I'm saying?
all right, last thing as well.
Wait.
Oh.
I didn't say nothing, man.
Yeah, no, go on.
That's why I'm talking about. Don't let me damn speak. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, I wanted to say, I don't know.
Hey, cut him off.
Hey,
End of the episode.
Imagine. That'd be so deep. Anyway, I wanted to say that I feel, on trying to answer your question, Adrian, I feel like also, I think it's different when you're actually you're physically trying to change your body to look like someone else. And I'll say the same thing for a black person as well. So I feel like getting the hair done, understanding why you're doing the hair, etc., where it's coming from, that's calm for me, whatever. But then when you're trying to put big lips on yourself, putting like getting a big ass bum or doing the waist shit or taking fat from your thighs, I don't know all the freaking procedures. I'm not a freaking shit. Or guy or that does that, I don't know. But you get my point. Like I feel like it becomes different when you're actually trying to change what you look like. I think it goes into a different layer of the whole conversation. But that's what I wanted to say.
Wait, before we finish, do you remember that woman that got her face tapped like?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
blonde
woman that turned and made herself black.
Yeah.
And
she looked ugly. So what was it like? She was like European, wasn't she? Like
yeah. But that's not even called.
Fam, I think that's mental illness at that point.
Thank you. That's not even cultural appropriation.
I said that's mental illness.
But could you consider that cultural appropriation?
Would you say? Would you say?
Consider that cultural appropriation because it's not really appropriating the culture. That's just something else.
That's like a super fan. That's a super fan.
That's what I said. But that's what I'm saying with the bums. Like I'm not gonna openly say that. Well, no, I can openly say that big bums came from black people. That sounds stupid as hell. That big bums came from black people. But that look, a big batty, yeah. A lot of black people, we have those features. So when I'm saying that, when someone that's white or Asian, whatever, and they're physically changing the body to be a black person, no one else, or features of a black person, then I think that's wrong because that's where I feel like is I'm gonna get the wrong one, bro. Appropriation. There we go.
But are they appropriating though? Are they appropriating a culture? Because that's less to do with a culture and more to do with our actual physiology. That's not I don't know.
No, because think about it, right? When Kylie Jenner got the lip fillers, that was cultural appropriation for sure.
Yeah. I totally get
not black. You're not supposed to have black lips. It's just like the way you are. Like.
But you know what the funniest thing is? This is why I bring up, and I'm not going to say any more after this because I know I talk a lot. But it's it always seems to be predominantly between white people. White people do to other races as well and other cultures. Predominantly white and black, because I rarely see, and I mean this, I rarely see Asians doing it. Latinos doing it. Like on there. Doesn't mean they're not all trying to get booties out there, but not to the extent that white people are, white women are. Do you see what I'm saying? Or even if for the guys, the white guys that are trying to be like black dudes, if they are. But
try to get the fades, the beards, and the way they shake the beard and shit.
Do you see
like,
what I'm saying? But
the
I don't
clothing.
see that. Even when the Asian women are dressing like the chulos and stuff, did you see any of them get the mad tats like the chulos?
The one that gets
a couple did.
Oh yeah, actually they did. You know.
Yeah, no, they do. They get the tats, but like they still don't bring like. They don't change their bodies to that extent, as in like fake implants stuff. Like they're not trying to get like Cuban thighs.
Yeah,
I mean like
Cuban thighs.
Hey,
that sounds like a fire chicken dish. You know what I'm saying?
What, Cuban thighs?
Cuban thighs.
One side of Cuban thighs, man.
With pinto beans.
Nah.
But yeah, hey, do you want to round us up, bro? Because that's a long topic. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to know what your thoughts are on cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. Who are the biggest offenders of it, and who are the most victimized of it, and what's the boundaries, etc., yada yada, this and that. Do you disagree with anything that we have said, or agree with some things that we said? Please leave it in the comment section below. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to guys like Bruno Mars, JT, JB, Miley Cyrus, and all those other people.
Who's JB? Oh, Justin
JB, fam. Like Justin Bieber.
JB, JT, fam.
Damn.
I'm an old man. I don't know this Justin Bieber. Who is Bieber? I want beer. Oh.
This guy, fam. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are Dunskies out here. Thank you for watching another episode of The Forbidden Juice, and we will catch you next time on next week's episode. Holla at your boys. It's your boy AD.
True function.
RJ people.
And we are out of here. Much love. Peace. How do I stop recording? I do it like this.